There are things war takes from you, but nothing hurt more than when it took my best friend. And, no, it wasn't a soldier, it was my dog. His name was Hunter, and this is the story of how he saved my life so many times I lost count until the day I couldn't save his. You'll understand why, to this day, I can't hear a bark without feeling my chest tighten. I was 22 years old when I got drafted. A young black man from Alabama didn't even know how to hold a gun right, let alone survive in a war zone. Arriving at base camp in the first days of training, an officer came up to me. He looked me up and down and said, "You've been chosen to work with a K-9. Ever heard of it?" I didn't know anything about war dogs. Thought it was strange even. Back then, we didn't get the best assignments, if you know what I mean. But I accepted. Until the moment I saw Hunter for the first time. He was sitting there looking straight at me like he'd known me for years. German Shepherd, dark coat, deep eyes, had scars on his paws, sign that this wasn't his first battlefield. The trainer told me, "This one's already lost 2 handlers. If he accepts you, you're lucky. If he doesn't, well, we'll try another one." I approached slowly. Hunter didn't growl, didn't bark. He just rested his head in my hand, and in that moment, something changed. I wasn't alone in that war anymore. The first weeks were the hardest. Hunter tested me all the time, wouldn't obey commands, pulled on the leash, looked at me like he was saying, "You're not my old handler." But I didn't give up. I'd spend hours talking to him, even knowing he didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone, my voice, my presence. I slept next to him, shared my food, took care of his old wounds, until one night I woke up with Hunter lying by my side, his head resting on my chest. That's when I knew he had accepted me. And in that war, where many still looked at me different because of the color of my skin, Hunter never looked at me that way. To him, I was simply his. The first real mission was terrifying. We had to cross a dirt road to reach an advance base. The problem, that region was known for being full of landmines. Hunter went ahead, sniffing every inch of ground. I followed behind, my heart beating so loud I was sure the enemy would hear me from far away. Suddenly, Hunter froze, didn't move any more, growled softly and looked at me. I'd already learned that look. Danger. Don't move forward. I called the squad. We did a sweep. There was a mine buried less than 6 feet from where we were about to step. If Hunter hadn't stopped, I wouldn't be here telling this story. That night, I held his head between my hands and said, "You saved me, boy. You saved me." 2 weeks later, in an ambush. We were patrolling a village when the shooting started. Total chaos, screaming, smoke, blood. I ran to take cover behind a wall, but in the middle of the confusion, I didn't see the enemy approaching from behind. Hunter saw. He jumped in front, barking fiercely, forcing the soldier to back off long enough for me to react. When it was all over, Hunter had a deep cut on his paw. I held him, bandaged the wound with my own trembling hands. "You saved my life again, didn't you?" He just looked at me, like always. The third time was the scariest. We were sleeping at camp when Hunter woke up growling at nothing. I thought it was just him being paranoid. But Hunter wouldn't stop. He barked, scratched at the tent door, until I heard it. Footsteps, enemy approaching for a surprise attack. Hunter gave us time to prepare. That night, he didn't just save my life, he saved the entire squad. And you know what's funny? Some of the men who looked at me sideways in the beginning, after that night, they started greeting me, respecting me. Hunter didn't just save our lives. He changed how they saw me. Hunter wasn't just a four-legged soldier. He was the only piece of humanity left in that hell. On quiet nights, when fear closed in, I'd talk to him, told him about home, about my family, about my mama making apple pie, about my father working in the shop, about the plans I had when all of this was over. Hunter listened to everything. Sometimes he'd put his paw on my knee like he was saying, "I'm here. You're not alone." There were days when food was scarce. I always shared with him. There were days when water was rationed. I'd give him my share to drink first. The other soldiers would even joke, "You take better care of that dog than you do yourself." And I'd answer, "Because he takes better care of me than I deserve." 3 months later, we got the order. Enter an abandoned village. Check for hostiles. Simple, or at least it was supposed to be. But when we arrived, the silence was too heavy. No birds, no wind, nothing. Hunter felt it too. He was restless, sniffing the air, looking everywhere. I knew something was wrong. We entered a partially destroyed building, narrow corridors, darkness, tension in the air. Hunter went ahead, but slower than normal. Suddenly, he stopped, looked at me. That look was different. It wasn't alertness. It was goodbye. Before I could react, Hunter bolted forward. A single shot echoed, the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. Hunter fell. I didn't think, didn't wait for orders, didn't care about the gunfire that started around us. I ran. I grabbed him in my arms, his warm blood flowing onto my uniform. "Hunter, Hunter, hold on, please." He looked at me. That look wasn't pain. It was peace. Like he was saying, "I did what I had to do. You're safe." And then he closed his eyes. The war ended. I came back home. But Hunter stayed there, buried in a field I don't even know where. There are nights I wake up hearing his growl. There are days I see a German shepherd on the street and my heart tightens. There are moments I close my eyes and I see him running down that corridor. I went back to Alabama, got married, had children, grandchildren, lived a long life, but I never had another dog, because no dog would be Hunter. Many people ask me, who was the greatest hero you saw in the war? I always answer the same thing. Walked on 4 paws. If you ever ask me what war really takes from a man, I'll tell you, it takes the ones we love most. And that day, the war took my best friend. But Hunter didn't die in vain. He lived protecting and died saving. This video is for you, Hunter. Wherever you are, thank you for everything.